Hi everyone, welcome back to another online session from a different location, of course. Well, this is for my students of architecture, so others can kind of scroll down if you will. You are most welcome to stay back, but do hit that like button, right? And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. That's very, very important, You see, I had been practicing and preaching as an architect for the past 2 decades across India and abroad. With my hands-on experience in designing and building numerous projects, I've gained some real-life insights which I keep sharing with my students of architecture out there. Well, today, let us talk about something very intriguing, something very interesting, which I have formulated with my experience, some basic strategies for my students of architecture. Let's discuss about EBD or evidence-based designing, which I had been talking about a lot in my book, Think Beyond Architecture series. Check it out. So, what is EBD? Evidence-based design or EBD is the process of constructing a building or physical environment based on scientific research to achieve the best possible outcomes. It is particularly important for use in the field of architecture, and not only architecture, interior design, landscape design, facilities management, education, city planning, healthcare, and so on. There are a lot of departments who use this particular strategy of EBD, and we are going to use it in architecture. For us architects, creating the buildings of tomorrow is an immense responsibility. Today, our schools, hospitals, living spaces are supposed to provide optimal conditions, support health and productivity. But how can architects meet increasing demands while delivering environments for high-performance individuals and the overarching concern of human health and comfort? And that's where EBD comes in picture today. Well, if you ask me, why is EBD so important? Why is EBD? Why are you talking about EBD? Why is it so important today? Evidence-based design, which implements modern research results on the well-being effects on humans into the creation of spaces, should be at the heart of architecture. Only then can you succeed. Design not for your fancy, not for your well-being, but design for the well-being of the people who you design for. Design it for others. Architecture be for everyone. We have an obligation to look at ideal long-term effects for the users by creating tomorrow's buildings. For instance, looking at what elements of architecture improve learning in our buildings and keep us going in our healthier life. Today, evidence-based designing is gaining around the use of scientific evidence and turning into a powerful tool for architects across the globe. If you apply it in a scale of a larger value, evidence-based design in architecture can unlock a huge untapped potential, can unlock a huge untapped resource where you can harness on, you can harp on, you can embank on to get to the next level out there for societies in terms of increased productivity and reduced health cost. And studies done in somewhere in France, for some time back, for instance, sometimes early this year or maybe prior to the lockdown, maybe, involving 2,387 participants across Europe, found that students in classrooms which are having larger open spaces were out there, not in enclosed confined compartments, had a higher percentage of marks as well compared to others. I have talked about in details in my book Think Beyond Architecture series about evidence-based designing. Go check it out. I also have a lot of articles on my page on this particular topic. Go check it out sometime. You see, students of architecture can take a note of this actually. There are basically 4 components to evidence-based designing: gather, map, hypothesize, and measure. Gather, map, hypothesize, measure. So gather is basically qualitative and quantitative intelligence or the data that you can gather, right? Mapping is about the strategic, the cultural and the research goals. Hypothesizing is about the outcomes, the innovativeness and the implementation of transitional design. Measure the outcomes finally and get to your results. Architects have the responsibility in translation of the research in field and in application in its incoming designs, informative designs and designing for the people. The conceptual model which architects could use has like 4 levels basically, I would say. Level 1, 2, 3, 4. Level 1 talks about the informed design decisions. Level 2 talks about the design decisions based on predictive performance and measurable outcomes. Level 3 talks about the results reported publicly, and level 4 about the publishing, right? So these are the basic 4 levels which I talk about in details in my page. If you go out there and check it out sometime. Informed design decision is about available literature on environmental research based on applicability such as the use of state-of-the-art technology, strategy based on the physical setting of the project. Design decision based on predictive performance and measurable outcomes, that is the level 2 talks about, rather than subjective decisions based on random choices. We are talking about choices which are dictated by a design based predictive outcome, right? Level 3 talks about results reported publicly with the objective of moving information on the methods and results moving information beyond the design team, right? The peer review makes the process more robust as it could involve varying perspectives from those who may or may not agree with the findings, right? And finally, the level 4 will be talking about publishing. The findings has to be published, right? The findings in peer-reviewed journals or maybe some other articles or maybe through books as I do, or maybe some other resources which you feel like maybe online or offline, whatsoever be. And it should be a collaborative approach through academic and social scientists, educationalists, students and so on. Having discussed all of that, you see, I strongly believe that an architect will always be a student wherever you are. You will always be a student constantly learning because there is a lot to learn in architecture. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts, your views, your comments on this particular topic right in that box below. I'll get back to you. See you. Bye.